And with that, the 2024 Vancouver Canucks training camp comes to an end. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It's just the end of the preliminary session for Vancouver Canucks hockey. Today was the blue versus white scrimmage. 2 periods, 20 minutes each at the South Okanagan Event Center in Penticton, British Columbia, and I wanted to give some general thoughts as to the event itself, some of the players that we saw, the game. It's not really too deep, it's just a training camp scrimmage. Not all of these guys are going to be trying at 100%. A lot of these players will be maybe kind of saving their energy for the preseason. I'd say that maybe the younger dudes had more to show for and more to gain out of an impressive performance in today's game. But heading into today's scrimmage, the biggest thing that I saw people talking about online, and specifically things that people were complaining about, were the prices for the tickets. They turned out to being like $40 a piece on top of the $20 parking charge, and the scrimmage was only 2 periods long, so a lot of people were paying a lot of money to see the scrimmage. I think it was Ryan Henderson, the producer of Donnie and Dolly, who went out there and tweeted that the scrimmage last year was like $5 a ticket, something like that. So apparently they're really cashing in on everything that's going on here. And look, I get it. Inflation exists. It's not rocket science, but at the same time, it is a little bit disheartening to see the ticket prices for a scrimmage game get that high. Now, to be fair, just because it was that high, it didn't seem to have an effect on whether or not those tickets sold or not. Thomas Drance went out there and said earlier this afternoon that it looked like there were like 5,000 to 7,000 people who had already bought tickets and had suited up in the building to watch this game. So good on the Canucks for making money, I guess, but at the same time, pretty expensive, eh? $42 tickets for a scrimmage game that's not even 3 periods long? Ay, ay, ay. Either way, the game ends with a 2-1 win for Team Blue. Interesting fact, since Team White ended up doubling Team Blue in shots, the rosters were tweeted out by the Canucks Twitter account. Team Blue consisted of Conor Garland, Filip Hronek, Nils Höglander, Jonathan Lekkerimäki, Elias Pettersson, Derek Forbort, Artur Shilovs, Elias Pettersson, Vilmer Alriksson, Mark Friedman, Aatu Räty, Tyler Myers, Kirill Kudryavtsev, Riley Patterson, Jake DeBrusk, Sammy Blais, Nate Smith, Ty Young, Nils Åman, and Linus Karlsson, while Team White featured Jet Wu, Brock Boeser, Carson Soucy, JT Miller, Arshdeep, Bains, Danila Klimovich, Heinen, Suter, Patera, Phil DiGiuseppe, Ty Mueller, Quinn Hughes, Kiefer Sherwood, Noah Juleson, Nikita Tolopilo, Max Sasson, Vinny Desharnais, Tristan Nielsen, Christian Wolanin, and Daniel Sprong. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to go out there and read everything like that. But either way, Team White ended up dominating most of the game, I would say, even though Team Blue ended up with the win. First goal of the game was scored by one Mark Friedman. The puck was centered out off the half boards. It goes into the middle, where Friedman loads up, locks, shoots, and scores, making it 1-0. The second goal of the game was scored by Conor Garland in the second period. A great turnover and takeaway by Nils Höglander. He throws it up for Conor Garland, who finds himself all alone on the goaltender Tolopilo. He dangles the pants off of Tolopilo and makes it 2-0. And then you had yourselves the 2-1 goal scored by Team White with 8 minutes to go in the second period. It was Carson Soucy, far point. He ends up taking a shot. Who knows if it went off of somebody and in, but at the end of the day, it's Carson Soucy who threw it on goal. Might have been tipped in by Danton Heinen, who really knows, but either way, Team White dominated most of the game in terms of shots and possession, I would say, but Team Blue ends up with the 2-1 win. And part of the reason Team Blue was able to stand on top in the way that they did was because Artur Shilovs, especially in that first period, was absolutely awesome. He was great. And some of the other goalies throughout the rest of the game, I thought, had some interesting moments too. Ty Young for Team Blue let in the 1 goal from Soucy, but he did have a beautiful save on Ty Mueller on a really nice backdoor passing play. I think that was probably like the save of the game outside of the opening frame there. But other standouts that I wanted to talk about from this game, of course, Conor Garland stands out because he looked pretty good with the goal there. Nils Höglander, though, the guy who set up Garland on that shot, absolutely fantastic. That guy was working all day. He was in the right areas. He was making reads. He was making plays too. I was super satisfied seeing Nils Höglander going out there doing his thing. Arshdeep Bains, I think, had one bad moment. It was actually the Conor Garland goal. Bains didn't pick the puck up at his own blue line, which led to the Höglander takeaway. But other than that one brain fart, I do think Arshdeep Bains had a good game. Who knows, if that momentum is able to carry itself into the preseason, we may be seeing Arshdeep Bains actually having a chance at doing something here for the Vancouver Canucks. Kiefer Sherwood had a really good burst of speed on a partial breakaway that he got. He was flying down the right wing and ended up with a shot on Ty Young, although it was easily snagged up by the goaltender because he kind of recognized that Sherwood didn't have many options. He had to force a shot there. But other than that, I mean, he was a physical presence. He was going out there like the lightning bolt player that he is. I think a lot of Canucks fans will see similarities between Sherwood and Tyler Mott once you really start seeing the season going. Lots to like out of that player profile over there. Going over to some of the other players though, Elias Pettersson, the top player on Team Blue, he was playing like the top player on Team Blue. I did notice a lot of his opportunities, and I did think a lot of his puck movement was pretty big brain. There were some moments, I'd say, like there was a play where Pettersson was trying to dump the puck in and keep the possession alive. He sent it into the opposite corner, but Lekkerimäki, his right winger, didn't chase, and it ended up being a really easy turnover for Team White. That was like one of the only moments where I was like, yeah, okay, there isn't really like the perfect chemistry here built with Lekkerimäki, Pettersson, and DeBrusk, but other than that, I did think that DeBrusk had a great game too. The guy was moving around. I love the way he holds on to the puck on the boards and how he's able to go up and down the boards whilst maintaining control and possession. That guy has been a grinder in Boston his entire career, and he played like it here in this game. Other forwards that I did notice in maybe a positive or a negative way, Vilmer Alriksson, I think, was one of the guys that didn't really benefit much from this game. Same could be said about Max Sasson. Those two are really good in the prospect showcase, but I didn't really think they had a good show against the main Canucks guys. Which is, you know, to be expected. You're going from playing 18, 19-year-old prospects in the Calgary Flames organization to suiting up against JT Miller and Brock Boeser. So obviously, the competition is going to be a lot different, but some of these guys were able to tango and hold their ground. I'd say that Räty was kind of borderline there. Some of these guys were not able to do so, unfortunately, which might make the Canucks' jobs easier when it comes to eliminating names heading into the preseason and beyond. I'm going to be honest though, I didn't really notice much of JT Miller until the end of the game where Team White started relying on those top guys a lot more to try and tie things up, but I could understand that. I mean, they're not going to try to demand the 110% JT Miller in a preseason training camp scrimmage, right? So it's just more of a showcase to allow the fans to see what's been going on and try to see who's hot, try to see who's not. A lot of Canucks fans will recognize that maybe the main guys that are going to be guaranteed spots didn't really put their best effort in, which is okay. We're not expecting the Stanley Cup Finals here, but I did like some of the showcases out of guys that are newer. Danton Heinen, I thought, also was moving around pretty nicely. He had a few shot opportunities that did look kind of dangerous. So ultimately, this was your scrimmage for the Vancouver Canucks, the blue versus white 2-1 decision for Team Blue. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about all the stuff we had talked about in this video, from the ticket prices, to the rosters, to the game, to who stood out and who did not. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.